let's jump in and get at this. So businesses are built on models and systems. The core model has been built on all of these principles, adding them into this together to create a great business in the center. So each week we go from component to component, connect those dots, so every week you can grow and get stronger. So relationship management is the component this week. In this, we'll put this in the chat box, we have what we call the BVC, the Business Vitality Checkup. This is your scorecard. Now, if you could see my wall here, and I'll try to show you a different way. I mean, if you could see my office wall on the other side of my camera here, it's got this up, not only for my personal business, but for each company. And so I'm constantly working off of a checklist, a scoreboard, right? Some of my scoreboards, I've got a 34%. Some of them I've got a 52. Some of them I've got a 71. I'm constantly working towards getting this into that 90 percentile. So if you see this and you haven't taken this vitality checkup yet, go through it, but don't take it and stuff it in your Rainbow Bright Padfolio, right? Keep it taped up to your wall, have it visual and go, which one am I working on this week to take me to the next level? We're going to be going through it every week. So this week, we're under BVC number 4, which is I systematically build relationships with my clients using a series of touch points that make people feel special at scale, produces referrals and clients for life. So this is all about relationship management and building those systems. So in that, we have, of course, a 46 touch program. One of the major components of having this system built is that, again, you're going to double or triple your conversion. So if I asked you, and think about this for a moment, some of you may know, some of you will know by the end of this year, what's your conversion ratio for new people that you're talking to? Meaning that X amount of conversations turns to X amount of deals. That's one conversion ratio. X amount of ambassadors equals X amount of deals. As we said, from everyone that we've coached and managed across the country, 6 ambassadors for every one either closing or referral that led to a closing from that ambassador per year. But that might not be your number. So if you're trying to think through this, we want to make sure that you're understanding that it's either 2 choices. We can go out and try to double the amount of leads we need. That's one mindset. Or we can double our conversion. And I can tell you from learning lessons over the year, I used to be a hunter by all extremes, not a farmer. And that gets real exhausting, right? If you're going to be out there every day, hitting the phones, hitting the doors, out there just going it and just going lead after lead after lead, instead of planting seed after seed after seed, pouring that beautiful water on, watching these things grow, and then producing and receiving that harvest from all of the fruits that came from your labor, and then doing it over and over again, year after year. It's kind of how we created civilization, right? We don't have to chase and hunt down a deer with a spear anymore. We have better ways of doing this. So I'd ask you, in the last 12 months, are you still out there hunting? Or are you building, whether you call it a farm or a nurtured database? What has to change to make that happen? All right. So this week, we're going to focus on what I feel is one of the most critical components of this system, which is 12 digital market reports. And when we go into this, I want you to understand the mindset, because some of you are right now are going to go, yeah, I've got everyone in my database on a market report. Stick around, because we've got some exciting things to kind of break through to your mindset on. And also, I know because I'm in a lot of people's databases, that's a lie. So first, we got to understand the purpose of the market report, right? So educational content makes consumers 131% more likely to buy. So we've got to make sure that in the eyes of any consumer, think about it like this. If I want someone to buy any product, my best bet to get them comfortable is to make sure that they are very educated on how the entire process works. They're educated on what the market is. They're educated on all of these different things, right? So that they can feel comfortable to make that decision a lot easier. And a lot of times we call that objection blocking. We're just trying to remove any possible concerns that they could have so that we can get them to make an educated decision to move forward. Now, some of us look at market reports as a lead generation tool. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Some of us look at market reports as Brendan told me to put them on this, so I just do it. And so I stick every new person that I meet on a market report. We're going to talk about that, right? But I want you to wrap your head around of going, sales start with education. So if you can be that resource and you can be that educator for your sales business, you're going to build trust, you're going to make, build rapport, and you're going to have all of these people that are going to want to work with you. Now, in order to do that, we've got to make sure we're clear on why it's super powerful, right? So increases customer satisfaction. We already talked about creates trust, establishes you as an expert, builds consumer confidence. Confidence is what matters when we're talking about building relationships, right? If I'm confident that Anna's the industry expert and that she knows that the average sales price in Aurora, Colorado is X, and that supply is at this. And I even heard, and I'll give credit to my wife, I heard her spouting out some stats the other day that she learned from one of our team meetings, listening to Megan Aller, who delivers us a lot of market statistics. And it's when she started talking about this, you could tell that she had been talking to her clients about how many showings does it take right now on average to produce one closing or to go under contract. So data and the leverage of data is extremely powerful, right? And then of course that's going to increase loyalty. So if you're new to this business, you've got to look at it and go, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to read every stats that come through every week. I'm going to make sure I know that data. And then the biggest challenge that we're going to have is deciding on which platform we're going to utilize to communicate that data to our clients. So
Brendan,
let's talk.
on that,
Yeah,
Brendan,
please.
on that, I want to kind of jump in and just and maybe you have some more insight on this. Oftentimes we hear, even just from agents on our real estate team, I don't want to come off as salesy. I don't want to spam my database. I don't, I feel I want to crawl out of my skin when you say put them on a digital market report. And really, when we talk about education being the foundation of sales, it immediately removes that salesy feeling, because you're not trying to sell anyone. You're trying to educate them. You're coming from value. You're really coming from a completely different place mentally, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, all of those kind of things. So anyone who's still in that limiting mindset, any kind of pro tips on recognizing that there's an ability to shift into more educational mindset?
Yeah, well, I probably talked to 1,000 clients where I've said, look, and this is going to come off in a weird way. I don't really care if you ever buy or sell. I just want to make sure you have the most reliable information so that you can make an educated decision when the time comes. That's my goal, is this. I always tell my clients that I'm a real estate consultant. I'm not a broker. I'm not an agent. I'm here as an informational resource. And I take pride in making sure that every one of my clients is equipped to make the best decision possible when the time comes. And that's all I'm here to do. And that's why we go back to when we talk about our conversations, Anna, that's why I never say, I think, I recommend, in my opinion. None of that. My whole situation is, here's what the data is telling us. Here's what the market is showing us. Here's what this report shows. So Brendan, do you think we should do a price adjustment? Excellent question. First of all, let's take a look at the data. We've had this amount. We know the averages are this. That way I can always come from a place of, I never felt guilty being like, if I just recommended for a seller to do a price adjustment because I'm like, yeah, drop the price so I can get this thing sold so I can move on to the next. If I'm educating them to do that, then they're going to, in the back of their head, go, this scuzzball just wants me to drop the price so he can get this darn sale and get his commission. Instead, I'm going, you review the data and let's make a decision that's right for you. I am just the data dealer. That's all I'm trying to do. And when you get comfortable with that, then it makes life a lot easier, instead of just coming from a place of just telling a client what you think they should do because you listened to a podcast this morning.
That's
Guilty as
powerful.
charged. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying, we've all done this. right? So let's talk about platforms. Now, in the chat box, I've listed 3 here, and I know we have people from all over the country. They're like, I am not using RE Colorado. That's just what we call our MLS here. So we use that as a sample for Colorado, or really for the Front Range. There's a billion different MLSs in Colorado, just like I'm sure there is in your town. So HomeBot, the MLS, and then Altos Research. Is anyone else in the Pulse Nation using a market report provider or data provider that's not one of these 3, your MLS, HomeBot, or Altos Research? If so, go ahead and put that in the chat box, just curious. The second, if that's going to happen or not, Greenlight, excellent, thank you, Katie. And I'm familiar with that, and I'll talk about that in a second. So generally what we got to think about is going, sometimes when we hear HomeBot, I've talked to a number of agents, Anna, that think HomeBot is just for helping sellers or homeowners understand what their calculation is for what their home is worth. That is a fallacy. You can do powerful HomeBot digital marketing reports for people that just want a general idea of what's happening in the overall market. You can do it by zip code. You can do it by city. So as we've talked about in the past, Anna, it's all about learning the tools in your tool belt, understanding what the capacity of what each tool does, and then leveraging it every single day, week, month, year to get maximum results, okay? So HomeBot, you have 2 options, and I want to be clear for everyone out there. Either you're on a team and they're paying for it, like for example, in our organization, Elite Home Partners, we pay for that service. It's extremely expensive. That's one option. You can do that. Number 2, you can partner with a lender, and I'm surprised some of you, if a lender hasn't approached you about partnering with you for a HomeBot situation, you can also go that route, or you can get it as an individual agent and utilize that service. Altos Research is another data market report provider. We used it for a lot of years. There was goods and bads about it, just like any tool. It had a lot of capacity to do Facebook posts and social media and leverage it the same way HomeBot does. It's amazing to me when I see this is that every week we have a tool that can instantly provide data and educational information to clients, and we don't do a single social media post about it. So think about this takeaway today. If you did one social media post that said, hey, I've got this amazing tool that'll give you an instant valuation of how much your home is worth in today's market, click here, that's one. Or I've got this amazing tool, if you're curious about what the real estate market is doing in your zip code or your home area, get a free, and always put free in that, a free instant report sent directly to you by clicking here. All you're taking is the link from where you're putting this data and sending it out to the population for them to complete. It's another easy way to do it. And then the last one I'll speak to is, of course, if you're not going to pay for anything, but you're already paying for the MLS, if you have a client, an ambassador, we're going to talk about that in a second, that you want them to be receiving data from, you could just create a custom search, active, pending, closed, in the general area. I know a lot of MLSs have stat pages that they can do. You can do the single line stat report. Some of them provide graphs and charts, but you could just do it in your MLS per client, and that's it. Now, you're not going to probably get as much aggregated results data. You're not going to probably have open rates as much, depending on the MLS. So just think about that. Yeah, thank you. And we got some other ones on here. Greenlight. Yeah, we get a basic one from the IDX provider, iHome Finder. I love it. iHome Finder. Thank you. That's perfect. RAE. Yeah, Housing Wire. Yeah. So again, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. No perfect platform exists. I just want to make sure everyone, there's pluses and minuses, there's all these things. What we're trying to do is just educate our clients and automate. Make sure you write that down. Educate and automate. That's what I think about all the time. Okay. So if we can educate and automate, the next thing is we've got to make sure, and this is where Anna was asking me, we've got to earn the permission to put people on different things. I see it all the time. Hey, Brennan, just joined the team. I've got about 1,700 people in my database. I'd like to put all 1,700 on a HomeBot. And I'm like, okay, and you've spoken to all 1,700 when? Oh, some of these people I haven't spoken to in 9 years. So we're going to throw them on a digital market report without their permission, and fingers crossed they don't unsubscribe. And then thinking that just because they see our market report once a month with our face on it, we haven't talked to them in 8 years, they're going to do business with us. I'll put a caveat there because I get this all the time. Brendan, it happened for me. I'm not trying to build my business on lottery tickets. I'm trying to build my business on relationships and consistency. So step two, right, is step one is pick the aggregator that you're going to utilize. Step two is earn the permission to have them on this report. That's either by making the phone call, which you need to do anyway. This is an email that you can send out if you want to batch email this out to your entire group. But I would rather batch email. This is just a sample. We'll put this in the chat box. This is just a sample template that you can utilize. Customize it to whatever you want. Of course, we're trying to give you as many tools as possible, but get permission, get the actual specific area. Do these things so it's right. If you don't like the wording, modify it to make it sound like yourself. Again, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Just get it out and start making it as part of your process. So when you meet a new buyer or a new seller, you're just going to work this into the conversation and go, look, one of the things I pride myself on, Anna, is making sure that my clients are the most educated clients in the entire real estate industry. So I have these powerful tools that provide you the most amazing data for you to be able to make an educated decision when the time comes. Would you like to receive that report via email or regular mail? 99.9% of the time, they're gonna be like, yeah, just shoot me the email. I'll be like, great. And just so you know, that'll be coming across monthly. If you don't find any value in it, just let me know if I need to customize the results to you to make sure it's more specific to what exactly you're looking for. Please let me know because I want to make sure it's a value that can help you for all of your future decisions. Instead of meet buyer, do buyer consult, don't talk about market report, throw them on market report, then don't call them for 3 weeks. They unsubscribe and you go, I'm getting all these unsubscribes and I can't figure out why. So earn the permission, okay? Step two, think about your frequency. So we also have to think about frequency. So this is a question I get all the time. If I'm working with an active buyer or seller, I have them on a weekly market report. They are receiving active information every single week. So that tells the story of what's happening so I can help them at the highest level. If it's an ambassador, I talk to them and I ask permission and what they want to usually be on. But for an ambassador, it's usually every 30 days, right? No less than 30 days. Now, if they go, I'd really like to see it bi-weekly, or you're working with someone that's like, hey, I'm really just, a high sea turtle that really loves data and loves the market, then great. Investors, usually bi-weekly, or check with them as far as the investors go on how they would like to see this information. And then the last one is future ambassadors. And we put this category on here. We talk a lot about ambassadors. A future ambassador is somebody that you're working with right now that you haven't earned the right to start putting on marketing, meaning that, again, you met them at the barbecue last Friday, they're in your database, but you guys haven't even held hands yet. You can't start making out and doing all kind of funny business because you haven't gotten to that point in the relationship, right? You're still not even at holding hands. And you're going, look, we're sliding into third base and I got you on 59 touches and it's freaking great, right? No. Hold hands, and when it's appropriate and you've earned permission, add 2 additional touches. And that means we have to talk to people. That's the gist. Okay. And then step 3, setting up your digital report. So make sure that you have the automation in there. I just did a recent audit of our Elite Home Partners database, right? And because I'm living this every day just like you, I am a data geek. I went through 21% of our entire Elite Home Partners database is on a market report. 21% of the claimed ambassadors that we have claimed as ambassadors. So our organization has work to do. I have work to do. No one is perfect in this. No one's trying to go, hey, this is, you're amazing. You've got all this done. It's looking at it and just going, this is another valuable tool to provide another touch. And I'll tell this story real quick, and I know I'm running out of time. So I have a gentleman, I had a gentleman on a market report for 9 years, right? 9 years. I met him the first year. I thought he was going to sell with me, went on a listing appointment. He had something happen in his family where he couldn't end up selling. And then again, he was like, yeah, it's probably going to be a year or two. So I was like, cool. I built out all my touches. Me screwing up, missed him in the database. He had been receiving a monthly market report from me for 9 years. 3 months ago, reaches out to me and goes, Brendan, I can't tell you how much I appreciate getting all these reports. I know it's been a significant period of time, but everything is now lined up. I'm ready to go to Montana and let's go. Can you come over and meet with me and tell me how much my house is worth? It wasn't as cold as that, but basically, can you come over and can we chat? 9 years times 12 market reports. That's what we're looking to do. And then, of course, guilty shame on me. I should have followed up with them better. I didn't do the follow-up call. We're all guilty. Remember, the market report is the safety net under the tightrope. The tightrope is you do everything right. The safety net is the monthly mailer. It's the market report. It's buyer and seller nurture campaigns. It's social media. That's all the safety net. So if you don't walk the tight wire perfectly, if you fall off and you forget to do the call, the personal touch, that you still have the ability to have this success. So again, make sure that you've got it set up, the desired area and frequency, and that you're looking at the results. So to put this all together, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. I love this expression of going, if we can educate our clients, we're going to try to light that fire inside their brain to go, maybe now is the time. Or they send your report to someone else and go, hey, look, I know you were talking to me at the office about buying. My agent is by far one of the most knowledgeable people I know. If you guys are even thinking about buying, they shoot me this market report all the time. I just want to forward it over to you. Why don't you give Kazan a call? Because she's actually the best in the business. She's the smartest person I've ever worked with, okay? So just make sure that we're looking at that. So again, think about the 3 steps. Step 1, identify the platform you're going to use. Step 2, make sure you get the permission to put people on it. And then step 3, establish the frequency and the follow-up utilizing and leveraging the reports. So pro tips, don't mass assign. Take the time and go one by one. If you mass assign people, you're going to get mass unsubscribes. And that hurts your email account. You get dinged and flagged as spam. All of that is an issue. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Pick a platform, move forward, make some calls. Don't take offense to no or unsubscribe. I used to get so irritated. I'd put somebody on this, and even after I earned their permission, and they're just like unsubscribed 3 weeks later, and I was like, what? Remember, people are busy. People are trying to do their own time management stuff. If they unsubscribe from you, it's not a personal slap in your face just because they just have too many emails and they don't care about this enough, okay? Take the time to learn, review your market reports so you know the data. You can't learn everything for every city and every county, but try to make sure you can speak education, have an educated conversation about the market report. And then leverage in listing and pricing conversations. This does the price adjustment work for you. When the market can see that the amount of sales is at this level or it's picking up, it's either we can leverage it either way to have our conversation with using this in the sales conversation. So because of time, we know there was some more questions in there. We'll address all of these questions in overtime. So just so everyone knows, we live stream at 11:30 Mountain Standard Time, so exactly 32 minutes from now. We'll answer any question. We take a half hour to go deep dive into anything you want. So just remember, we're on there in the Facebook group community, and you'll see us pop on there at 11:30. So let's talk about how we win this week. We win in making small incremental movements that add up to large success. So we have our digital market report audit worksheet. You're going to hear a lot in Pulse about me talking about audits because we think we're doing all these things, but we're not. So here's how we win this week. Number 1, I want you to go through your database, and all you need to do this week to get a registration is add or process 5 people on the digital market report. Now we have the client's first name. No one's trying to steal your client, so just put John or Susie or whatever their names. This is for you. This is a tool for you. Then you're going to put email or call to earn permission. Yeah, I called, I emailed, added to the digital market report, yes or no. They might say no, thank you. That's totally fine. And then the frequency that you have them on. The goal is just to add 5. Now, if you go, Brendan, I know we have my good friend Brett Chagru on here. He's got me on a market report. This guy is the market report ninja level. He's got everyone on a market report that I know. His challenge is to add 5 from the outside. If you got everyone already on this and it's clocking, the goal is to add 5 more. If you don't have 5 people in your database currently right now, I mean, if you need to get another 5 and there's 5 people missing, and I know you have them in there, except for maybe Brett, because I've seen these databases. Let's go add 5 more. Think about it. 5 more times 12 touches times 3 years. How many touches is that of people seeing your educational information, your report, your face, the ability to forward it on to someone else? It's all going to compound.